Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. You see the information?
I do.
Okay. Do you have any questions, or do you want to practice sharing your screen?
If we could practice sharing my screen, that'd be great.
I can do that. And you saw the part about answering questions? That's okay. We'll talk about it after you go ahead and share. There you go.
Perfect.
Yep, look the way you want it to.
Perfect.
All right. To go back to what was on that informational screen, it is a 45-minute session that will be recorded. If there's more than one of you, unmute yourself while not actively speaking. Are you going to play any videos?
There's a video embedded in the PowerPoint that I'm showing.
Okay.
That's a good question. Do I need to do something special to make sure the volume is there?
Yeah, there is a little box at the bottom when you are going to share the screen. It says share computer sound.
Okay.
So when you hit the share screen, it should have two little boxes at the bottom.
Okay.
One says to share computer sound. The other one I should say optimize video.
Okay.
If you click both of those, that keeps the sound and the audio, or the audio and the video together. Otherwise, it tends to lag a little bit. So you can just click both of those. And then when you actually get to the video, it'll automatically do that because we checked it on the screen share option.
Okay.
Okay. You will get a list of registered students, whether they actually attend this evening or not.
Okay.
And any questions that are asked, you will also get a transcript of that.
Great.
Okay, and students will be muted and their cameras are off, so they will type in questions through the Q&A button.
Yep.
Are you going to have someone else with you?
I am not.
Okay. You have the option, you will be able to see the questions. You can respond to them in real time, or you can wait till the end and address them that way.
Yep.
If you choose to respond in either way, you can. You need to check or send privately response, as opposed to just answer it back to everybody.
Got it.
And it's okay to follow up with people if you end up getting a question and you don't have time to get to it.
Got it.
Okay, but you'll get a transcript of all those questions as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I do my share screen again real quick, just so I can see what that,
Absolutely. See how the video runs?
Yep, share computer sound. I do both of them, optimize screen sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Perfect. I just want to make sure I knew where that was, so.
I get it. Everyone is a little bit, yeah.
Well, and I realized that I haven't used this presentation with the video in it before. I've done this first drive scan before, but thank you for reminding me about the video portion. I would not have thought of that.
It's so easy to forget, isn't it?
It is. It is, for sure.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share the welcome screen. We do at least have one participant in addition to ourselves.
Okay.
So essentially, once the top of the hour comes, I will read most of what's on this screen and then turn it over to you. And
Sounds
then
great.
you go until you are done. If you go all the way up to 45 minutes, I will stop your screen share and put in the thank you slide.
Okay. Yep.
Just because we have another session after this one.
Sure.
So, then, however long you take is however long you take.
Yep.
So, okay.
Sounds great.
You ready?
I am.
We still have 5 minutes, so.
Yeah.
And then once you get started, I will turn off my camera and mute my microphone.
Okay.
So
sounds great.
You'll just see a big blob that says StriveCans 2023. My name is Brenda, by the way. I'm an OACAC board member.
Nice to meet you. I'm Lori Patton obviously from Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah, I actually attended the virtual grad school and career fair yesterday.
Okay, yeah, I saw signs or announcements about it in our daily bulletin. So
yeah, I don't know how many people showed up. It was interesting. It was a 3-hour window.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had 2 people show up, but yeah, 2 more than if I hadn't been there.
That's kind of the story of our lives this fall. Like, we don't really know. You sort of have to do these things, and not knowing what kind of attendance you're going to have. It's been really hit or miss. I did one of these with a panel of 6 other college reps. So there were 7 panelists and we had 1 attendee. It was like 7-1. But it was recorded and we can send that out to other folks. So it ended up being fine. And then the next one I did was another panel, just 3 of us, and we had 30 people on it. So
oh my goodness.
It's just, you never know.
You don't. And I like that they're recorded. I teach school counseling, and I have had my interns doing all sorts of this, which is great. And they are following up with the links and showing them when they have time, or sometimes assigning them as additional homework to find information. So they are being seen, which is great.
Yeah.
Some of them were even concerned because the recordings weren't up like that next hour.
Right.
So we told them there's a little bit of a lag time, but they've been very pleased with it. So the news is getting out there. I think it's a great way to reach some of our rural schools and other areas where we might not always have the time.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. So, I think you have to look for the good things, right?
Exactly. Silver linings. Well, and also, I mean, as much as you get Zoom fatigue, at least you can interact with people without face masks on Zoom. And so you can get to, I feel like when I meet people in person nowadays in the office, I'm never going to remember them because I'm only seeing their eyes and I'm such a visual person. And of course they have different masks on at different times. So it's been an interesting challenge for sure.
I agree completely. And you can't get very close, or you have plexiglass around you.
Yeah, and we're so used to shaking hands, and it's been really a hard adjustment for sure.
Yeah, I know, it's tough.
Maybe one of these days we'll get back to some sense of normalcy. I keep saying that, and I'm not sure it's going to happen anytime soon. But
yeah, well, as long as we stay safe and healthy, I think
exactly.
It's worth it to protect ourselves and take
absolutely
precautions.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thanks for doing this I'm assuming you're volunteering your time for OACAC. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm actually the co-chair for the GWI, which is the Guiding Way to Inclusion.
Yeah. That was I'm trying to remember, did that conference end up happening? It happened virtually, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, because it was right at the time that the world was falling apart.
It was, yes, our conference was supposed to happen the week that the world closed.
Yeah. Well, our family had gone to Colorado for Ohio Wesleyan had spring break, and we always go out west to ski. And, things were sort of unraveling during that week. And I would have never known that when we got back, nothing would be the same again. It was.
Oh, yeah. And I think most of us thought we'd be away for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. So interesting.
It is something. Okay, we are in our last minute before we hit 7. We start right on time.
Okay.
Just so that we can keep on schedule.
For sure.
So. And of course, that's when my doorbell would ring. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Ohio students. You are in webinar mode, so your camera and microphone are off. You are muted. The panelists cannot see you or hear you. You are welcome to ask questions. Use the Q&A button to type your questions to the presenters at any time. If your question is not answered during the actual session, there will be follow-up, as the presenter will receive your contact information as long as you registered for the session. The recording will be available in about a week, available at www.oacac.org, and we encourage you to sign up for more sessions for other college presentations at the same website of www.oacac.org. Our presentation for this evening is from Ohio Wesleyan University, Oh-Wooo. Here we go.
Great, thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen here and then we will get started. So welcome everybody to the session about Ohio Wesleyan. I'm so delighted that you are able to join us this evening. My name is Lori Patton. I am the Director of Admission here at Ohio Wesleyan. And also a graduate. I graduated from OWU in the class of 1995. I have been working here at the university pretty much since graduation, so just about 24 years now. In fact, the picture on the right is my actual graduation day back in 1995 when Dr. Tom Cordes handed me my diploma. In addition to being a graduate, I also am fortunate to have two of my kids. Both of my kids are here at Ohio Wesleyan. My daughter is a junior this year and my son is a first-year student. So it's been fun to add the additional dynamic of being a current parent. When I talk about Ohio Wesleyan to students, to families, to school counselors, what I like to say is that if you remember nothing else about Ohio Wesleyan, I hope that you will remember that we are the home of the OWU Connection. The OWU Connection is Ohio Wesleyan's signature program, and it's very common for colleges across the country to have a signature program, a program that allows students or requires students or helps students do a thing before they graduate. For example, a college might say, every student at our college will travel abroad before they graduate, or every student at our university will do an internship before they graduate. And so Ohio Wesleyan's signature program, again, is known as the OWU Connection. And it's a little bit different than some other signature programs because it offers a bit of variety. So the three pillars of the program you'll see listed here are what we call Think Big, which is really referring to research opportunities, Going Global, which relates to travel experiences, and Getting Real, which relates to internship experiences. So every student at Ohio Wesleyan is guaranteed the opportunity to participate in the OWU Connection and do as much of it as they would like. It's also personalized. No two students do exactly the same thing. Students can create their own pathway through our academic curriculum and through the OWU Connection. The other thing that's interesting about the OWU Connection is that it is not yet required. So it may end up being required in a year or two, but it's not yet fully required, though over 90% of our students will participate in at least one of the OWU Connection experiences that are offered, the research, travel, and/or internships. And the last thing that we like to say about the OWU Connection is that it is proven. We feel like students who participate in one or more experiences within the OWU Connection set themselves up for life after OWU, whether that be in graduate school or in the real world. They are better prepared and more marketable for those kinds of opportunities. So we're going to walk through each of the elements of the OWU Connection to give you a bit more information. So the first leg of the OWU Connection is the Think Big pillar, and that is again related to interdisciplinary programs and research. So this might look like interdisciplinary in the sense that students often at Ohio Wesleyan will double major and perhaps choose majors that are related or even unrelated, and they try to find connections between those. Very often our students will participate in a variety of different research experiences. You may think of that as typically in the sciences, and for sure we have a number of those opportunities available for students, but our students also conduct research in other ways in non-science related fields through our small individualized project grants and our theory to practice grants. These are two different grant programs that provide funding for students, faculty, and staff to pursue individualized projects that are of interest to them. And oftentimes those will involve research. So one example of a student and their particular pathway through the OWU Connection that relates specifically to research or the Think Big pillar is Jordan Brown. Jordan graduated from Ohio Wesleyan just a few years ago. And when he came to OWU, he really went full force ahead into the research experience. He was a double major in the sciences, and he ended up doing 3 different research experiences while a student at OWU. One of them was on campus through our summer science research program, which is a 10-week a paid research experience for students with a faculty member on campus. He also did 2 off-campus research experiences, one in Wisconsin, the other in Nebraska. Those research experiences made it an easy choice for him to pursue graduate school after OWU, and choosing the University of Wisconsin-Madison was a likely choice as well, given the experience he had during that summer research program. So just one example of how a student's pathway through the research side of the OWU Connection helped him to his post-OWU life. The second pillar of the OWU Connection is what we call going global. Nearly 70% of our students will have an off-campus experience, either domestically or internationally, before they graduate. And they can do that in a variety of different ways. For sure, they can spend a full semester abroad in a traditional semester-long study abroad experience that is most commonly known of in the college world. But they may also participate in travel through something called travel learning courses, or we call them TLCs for short. Travel learning courses are pretty interesting. They are regular semester-long courses typically offered in the spring semester. And it's a normal course where a student would go to class 3 days a week or 2 days a week, depending on the schedule. But their lab component of the course, or there's a travel component where the student, the classmates, and the faculty member would pack their bags at some point, either during spring break or at the end of the term in May, and travel to a place that relates to that particular topic. So in this picture, you're seeing our island biology course, which is a long-standing travel learning course offered here at Ohio Wesleyan. They spend about 14 days in the Galapagos Islands to really put into practice what they were learning in that classroom setting throughout the entire spring semester. Another way that students can travel is through those theory to practice grants. We call them TPGs. These are those fully funded grant programs that students can apply for to do individualized projects that are of interest to them. So a great example of another student whose OWU Connection pathway involved actually a number of different experiences within the OWU Connection, but was heavily focused on travel. Eva Blockstein, who graduated a year ago, she had an interesting combination of majors and minors. She was very interested in the sciences, but also had a passion for art. And so she was able to combine those areas through her academic majors and minors. She actually did travel experiences, internship experiences, but what's really cool is that her travel experiences took her a number of different places. So she did a travel learning course to Costa Rica in geography. She participated in that very same island biology course that we just saw a picture of to the Galapagos Islands. She was able to do an internship domestically in Baltimore, Maryland. She did a research program through a theory to practice grant in Panama. She was able to intern locally at the Columbus Zoo. And then she also snuck that art interest in by having a connection grant to study cast iron art practices in Birmingham, Alabama. So you can see in just her short 4 years at Ohio Wesleyan, the number of travel experiences that Eva got to experience is quite amazing. Those experiences gave her a leg up when she applied for jobs after graduating. And she is now working, as you can see, in Alaska at NEON, which is the National Ecological Observation Network. I am Facebook friends with Eva, and I love to see the different posts that she has about her various experiences. So again, another cool story of how the OWU Connection has impacted this particular student. The third leg of the OWU Connection is the getting real component, and that's what we like to refer to as internships, externships, and the practical application of connecting what students are learning in the classroom with real world experiences. So again, students can do a semester-long internship, like this student who is participating in our Wesleyan in Washington program. This is, again, a semester-long internship experience right in the heart of DC. I actually had a Zoom conversation today with one of our current seniors who is with another Ohio Wesleyan student doing that Wesleyan in Washington program as we speak. He is waiting on his security clearance in order to do his internship. That should be completed here in the next day or two, but the other Ohio Wesleyan student is already knee-deep in her internship. They're having a great time, staying safe, of course, but really enjoying that experience. Connecting, again, his politics and government major with some real world experience. We have a number of internship opportunities in a variety of different departments. Some of our departments require an internship before graduation, others highly recommend it. Students can do internships during the academic year, like the Wesleyan and Washington program, or even during the summers, and can even get funding through the Theory to Practice grant program to have an internship paid if it's not already paid. So lots of opportunities there. And a good example of a student whose OWU Connection experience involved internships is Charlie Kotler. Charlie is a student who graduated a year ago who came to us from Connecticut. He was a major in international business and Spanish. His Spanish minor actually required that he spend a semester in abroad, so he did spend some time in Seville, Spain. He also got to travel with the soccer team, which he was a member of, to Germany. The team goes there every 3 years. And he was super fortunate in the summer after his junior year to land a prestigious internship at WebMD in New York City. And it opened his eyes to the world of digital health. So when he graduated and applied for jobs in the real world, he landed a job with Accelerated Development in Change Healthcare in Nashville, which is a similar program to the WebMD internship that he had as an undergrad. So again, that OWU Connection experience that Charlie had at Ohio Wesleyan really led him directly into what he was doing after OWU. So awesome opportunities in the OWU Connection. I am super excited for my own children to take advantage of these opportunities as they progress through their years at Ohio Wesleyan. So some basic facts and figures that I want to make sure that that we go over. So if you don't already know this, the size of our student body is just over 1,400 students, and those students are coming from all over the place. Right now, 44 states and 28 countries are represented in our student body. Interestingly, 27% of our students are either international or US multicultural, so we have a very diverse set of students coming from a lot of different places. We did this year, because of COVID, offer students an option to be remote learners. So they could choose remote learning and staying at home to learn virtually or coming to campus. About 85% of our students are learning on campus this year, with about 15% of our students choosing to be remote for this fall semester. Let's see, in addition, our students are active in lots of different activities. We have about 40%, just under 40% of our students who participate in one of our 24 varsity sports programs. Our students are active in service learning. You'll see that they typically rack up more than 45,000 hours each year of service, though it's not required. Our students do well after graduation as well. More than 95% of our recent grads tell us that they are employed or in graduate school within about 6 months of graduation. So this is a successful group of students as well. Ohio Wesleyan is fortunate to offer a number of majors. In fact, we have over 70 majors currently. This compares to typically 40 to 45 is usual for a small liberal arts college like us. So well over that average is what we offer. Our top 5 most popular majors include zoology, which is a relatively unique major for a small private school. Not a lot of colleges offer that major. Business, psychology, health and human kinetics, as well as politics and government. What's fascinating to me about Ohio Wesleyan is the number of students who choose to double major. I actually was one of those myself back when I was a student, but about 30% of our students will double major at Ohio Wesleyan. That's not a requirement at all. The minimum requirement is students that have 1 major, but if you're interested in multiple disciplines, you certainly have an opportunity to do that. And I will say that the faculty here at OWU are very supportive of double majors. In fact, there are some colleges out there that are much more territorial. Like if you're a music major, you're only a music major. But our music faculty want students to explore more than one area. So I think you'll find that that environment here is quite supportive. Our faculty interactions and relationships with students is quite strong. Average class size, because we're a small school, is about 15 students. A large class at OWU would be anywhere between 25 and 30. You're likely not going to see anything much larger than that, if at all. Not at all, actually, this year, given COVID, we have some size restrictions on the number of students we can have in each classroom, so our students are enjoying even smaller classes. But again, on average, in a typical year, 15 is the average class size. Student to faculty ratio is 10 to 1, so lots of personal attention from your professors. 100% of our faculty hold their PhD or terminal degree in their field, so they're experts for sure in what they're doing. Oftentimes, you'll be asked to house sit, dog sit, babysit, have a breakfast, lunch, or dinner at your faculty member's house. You really do get to know them on a very personal level. We feel blessed with our location in the small town of Delaware, though close enough to the large city of Columbus. Delaware itself is just about 30 miles north of Columbus. Our campus looks like a barbell or a bow tie or an hourglass, and that shape straddles Sandusky Street, which is the main street through our downtown area, which gives our students walking distance access to things very easily. So you have lots of fun, cute charm within the downtown area, whether it be Coffeeology, which is the coffee shop pictured in the top left-hand corner. They have really great avocado toast and the cutest booth in the back of their coffee shop for an awesome study spot. Amato's in the bottom left is a really fun wood fire pizza place, again, just a block north of campus. The historic Strand movie theater is not too far from campus either. Our students can watch first run movies there at discounted prices. And one of my favorite activities is what's known as First Friday. So the first Friday of every month, the town of Delaware sort of shuts down the street and allows pedestrians to walk around and shop late and enjoy each other's company on that first Friday. But we're also fortunate to be so close to Columbus and all of the opportunities that are available there. So, you know, we're not far from the Short North, which is a really fun arts district. They offer gallery hops the first Saturday of every month. Of course, the Columbus Zoo, which I think is ranked the second best zoo in the country, is less than 15 miles from campus. We've got great shopping opportunities with the Polaris Fashion Place, Easton Town Center, and Tanger Outlets, which just opened a few years ago, and that's about 10 miles from campus. And then there's opportunities for sporting events and concerts at Nationwide Arena and other venues in the Columbus areas. So our students have lots of fun options as far as that's concerned. Columbus also gives our students additional opportunities for internship experiences as well. So opens the doors for our students for sure. So we are considered a residential campus, which means that the majority of our students live in on-campus housing all 4 years. The picture of the top left picture is of Stuyvesant Hall, one of our oldest residence halls on campus. That's a building that's available for sophomores and above. And then the picture on the right is of 3 of what we call small living units, or SLUs for short. Again, we like to use sort of shortened versions of our words here. So SLUs, or small living units, are theme-based houses that students can live in, again, sophomore year and above. And you might choose to live in one of these houses because you have a particular interest to a theme of that house. So for example, there is the tree house, which tends to house students who have an interest in environmental issues. There's a house called HOLD, which stands for the House of Linguistic Diversity. And students who live there may be majoring in a foreign language or have a specific interest in that area. We have a new house this year that's focusing on service learning. There are about 8 or 9 different themed houses available to students, again, sophomore year and above. The pictures on the bottom are, bottom left is of the inside of one of those small living units. You can see that they're more house-like. There's a family room, a dining room, a kitchen. It feels more like you're living in a home. The picture on the far right is also the inside of one of those small living units. I believe that's the honors house, another theme-based house that students can choose to live in. The center 2 pictures are of traditional residence hall spaces. One of the things that's been super exciting on Ohio Wesleyan's campus is just a few years ago, we embarked on a multi-phase multi-million-dollar residential renewal project that is going to be touching a variety of different residence hall spaces on campus. We're in phase 1 right now, and we completed the first part of phase 1 this past August when we opened up half of Smith Hall. I'm going to flip over to the next slide, which allows you all to see a video of that renovation and what those brand new renovated rooms and facilities look like. And then we'll regroup after the video, and I'll continue to show you some more residence hall renovations. So here we go.
Hey folks, Brian Emmerich here, Director of Residential Life. We're going to take a quick tour of one of our brand new rooms in Smith Hall West. So this is a pretty typical room, pretty standard here for Smith West. All of our rooms are roughly this size, and we'll have all the same furniture you see now. Just to my left and right here are 2 desks, 1 for each person. It's a 3-drawer desk and a pencil drawer as well, and a nice chair that leans back and is very comfortable. Some armoire closets for you to hang your clothes in. There's 2 drawers for clothes down below. We have an additional set of drawers that can fit underneath your bed. You can also move that anywhere you'd like. We've positioned it under the bed here, but once you get to your room, you're welcome to move things around as you see fit. Brand new beds with a soft and firm side of each mattress, which is nice. We're going to take a look at the brand new bathrooms in Smith Hall West. So please come on in. What you'll see here are our community sinks. While we have community sinks, we have private bathrooms and private showers, private toilets and private showers for everyone to use. So just to the my right here, you'll see an ADA accessible restroom that's complete with a shower, a toilet, and a sink. We have 2 of those in this bathroom, another one right here. And on the other side of the bathroom, we have individual shower stalls and individual toilet stalls. So private rooms, lots of privacy. We are very excited about the Smith West project. There's a lot that you've seen that's finished and ready to go for our new students here in fall of 2020. But there's a lot of work that's still to be done. Coming up very soon, within the next few weeks and within the next month, we're completing work on our main lobby, which will include a late night desk, our 24/7 dining hall called Smith Dining. And of course, there's ongoing work in Smith East throughout the next 12 months. And by August 1st, 2021, Smith East will be complete. And we're adding a brand new workout facility in that space, and a game room where people can sit down and play video games and socialize with people online and in person. There's a lot that this community is bringing all together into one place for our first year students, and we're really excited about what it's going to do for our first year experience.
So as Brian mentioned in that video, half of the building was finished and opened this past fall. So half of the first year class is living there now. In fact, my son got placed in Smith, and it's a beautiful facility. And then the second half will be finished in August of 2021. So any students who are applying for the fall, all first year students will live in that facility next year, which will be a great thing for them. In addition to the Smith Hall renovation, on the bottom of this slide, you'll see Bradford Milligan Hall. We also have broken ground and are building our first ever apartment complex on campus. And this building will also be finished in the fall of 2021 and will be available to house 128 upper class students, primarily seniors, but perhaps some juniors as well, depending on interest level. And in just a few weeks, we'll be reopening Branch Rickey Arena, pictured in the top. Branch Rickey is home to our volleyball and basketball programs. We did a little facelift in there, new floor, new bleachers, air conditioning, which I know the two sports teams are super excited about, renovated locker rooms and whatnot. So excited to be able to open that again in a couple of weeks. And I think the volleyball team, though they're not able to compete intercollegiately this fall, are hoping to have a inter-squad scrimmage to celebrate their seniors again when it reopens. So a few things about the application process. We'll just go through these sort of quickly, but you'll see on the screen the different dates and deadlines for applying for admission. We do accept the common application. We also have our own online application. Either one of those is fine. We have no preference on which one you use, and it is free to apply for all students. There is no application fee involved. I would say that the vast majority of our students apply to Ohio Wesleyan Early Action. You'll see on the screen that deadline is December 1st. We do offer an early decision program as well. That's a binding early admission program, but most of our students prefer the flexibility of the non-binding early action program. We do accept applications up until March 1st. And ultimately abide by the same National Decision Day deadline of May 1st, although we know this past year that some schools, including Ohio Wesleyan, extended the deadline because of COVID. So May 1st for now. We'll see how this year goes. Today is the day that the FAFSA opens, so if your family is excited about completing the FAFSA, that can be done online beginning today. And quickly, I'll mention that we are already beginning to review applications for this coming year, and we will start to send decisions out mid-October. So if you're applying early action, for example, even though that deadline is not until December 1st, you don't have to wait until December 1st to hear from us. You submit your application now and it becomes complete, and we have all the things that we need to review it. We will go ahead and send that decision to you early so you don't have to wait. So the things that we consider for your admission are pretty standard and what most colleges consider. First and foremost, your academic performance throughout your high school career. We know that might look a little different than prior to COVID. We might see students' transcripts that have pass-fail grades in the spring semester last year. We might see that even for some students in the fall semester this year, depending on what their school's policy is, but we're prepared for that reality. So we will require that you send a transcript, a school recommendation from either a counselor or a teacher, or maybe both. You will be required to write an essay, and we hope to be able to use that time to learn a little bit more about you through your writing. It's important to note that Ohio Wesleyan is test optional. In fact, we've been test optional for a number of years. Prior to this year, there was a GPA requirement to qualify for test optional, but we have removed that barrier and are completely test optional now, no GPA requirement at all. It's also important to note that we are test optional for scholarships as well. In fact, we will not use test scores at all to determine scholarships this year. We know that it is going to be difficult for some students to take the tests at all, and also difficult for students to retest if they're trying to get a certain score to qualify for a certain scholarship. So we've hopefully taken that stress away from you and will not require test scores at all for scholarship consideration. A little bit about our costs. So like many small private colleges, we do have a higher sticker price. You'll see here that the tuition and fees plus room and board gives you a subtotal of just under $60,000 per year. However, the next line down shows you that our average financial aid package awarded this past year was over $43,000. Which leaves an average balance of about $16,000 or so. Now, remember that an average is an average, and certainly some students are going to pay more than that and some students will pay less than that, but $16,000 is a lot easier to swallow than $60,000. So please do keep in mind that Ohio Wesleyan is quite generous when it comes to both need-based financial aid as well as merit-based scholarships. In fact, our most generous scholarship is the Branch Rickey Scholarship. I mentioned Branch Rickey a little earlier when we were showing the renovation slide. Branch Rickey, if you don't know, is famous for breaking the color barrier in professional baseball when he signed Jackie Robinson to the Brooklyn Dodgers. But he's also famous, he's an alum, so we feel like he's famous for that. We have that building named after him. We also have a scholarship named after him. And the scholarship is a $30,000 annual scholarship that students who have a 3.6 GPA would automatically qualify for. Again, no test scores required. So if you have a 3.6 cumulative GPA by the end of your junior year, you would automatically qualify for this $30,000 scholarship. In addition to getting that scholarship, all Branch Rickey students are also eligible to compete for additional money. We have something called the Wesleyan Scholarship, which is a $10,000 stackable scholarship, as well as the Schubert Scholarship, which is a full tuition scholarship. That competition we want to have on campus, but we'll have to sort of see how our COVID regulations pan out over the next couple of weeks and months. If it's not on campus, we will in fact offer a virtual option so students still can compete for that money. We typically offer more than a dozen of each of those scholarships each year. So there is not just one of each, there's quite a few to qualify for. And so that is an opportunity for those Branch Rickey qualified students. Now, if you're sitting there scratching your head saying, oh no, I don't have a 3.6, I have a 3.4 or a 3.0, please don't panic because we do have additional scholarships for students who don't meet this Branch Rickey award level. And those scholarships start at $20,000 and go all the way up to $30,000. So there still is significant financial assistance available for you as well. In addition to the Branch Rickey Scholarship, these are some other scholarship opportunities that students might have. I already talked briefly about the Schubert and Wesleyan scholarships pictured in the middle. Those are the competition-based scholarships that Branch Rickey students would compete for. But if you have a special talent in either art, theater and dance, and or music, we have those talent-based scholarships. They are stackable on top of any scholarship you would have already received. They do require you to major in those areas, and they often require an audition or a portfolio review depending on the discipline. Again, this year, those auditions will likely be available both virtually as well as in person, depending on a student's comfort level. We also offer a community service and leadership scholarship featured in the top right-hand corner. This is a $10,000 per year scholarship that is also stackable. It is open to any student to apply for, though we do sort of flag students during the application process who we think have demonstrated a lot of community service and invite them specifically to apply. But there is a separate application that's available on our website for any student to submit at any point in time before March 1st. And we award 2 of those every year. So that's another opportunity for scholarship dollars. Lastly, I'll just mention that there are a variety of different ways that you can connect with Ohio Wesleyan over the course of your college search process. We are in fact open to in-person visits. We reopened on June 1st, and we are offering campus tours and information sessions Monday through Saturday. We limit the number of people on each of those tours and in each of those visits so that we can maintain proper physical distancing and abide by all the guidelines that are set forth by not only the university, but also the state of Ohio. We have a handful of group programs offered throughout the fall semester. Most of those are taking place on Saturdays. We do have one on a Wednesday that focuses on the sciences. And those, of course, are also limited in the number of students we can accommodate as well, just again, to abide by those rules and regulations. But for students who may not feel comfortable visiting in person, we have a number of different virtual opportunities. There's a way for you to build your own customized view book. We have something called Bishop Banter, which is a 9-episode podcast series. So if you're at all into podcasts, that might be something you could enjoy. We offer individual either phone conversations or Zoom conversations with your admission counselor. And so you can set those up online as well. We have a really cool tool on our website called Unibuddy, and it's a fun chat feature that allows you to interact with current students, faculty, and staff in various areas to get some of your questions answered. We offer a virtual campus tour on our website that's there every day. But we also just launched a live virtual tour. We've had 2 of them now, and we will offer 4 more this fall semester. So keep your eyes open for more information about those as well. So I'll pause now and see if there are any questions that the audience has that I am able to answer this evening before we end our time together. Great question submitted about taking college courses in high school. That is very popular in Ohio in particular because of the College Credit Plus program. We see tons of students come to Ohio Wesleyan with CCP credit. And long story short, yes, very transferable. Just like to qualify to get credit through high school, I believe you have to have a C- or better in the course to have it paid for. C- or better in the course is what we require to have it be transferable to Ohio Wesleyan. I actually have a colleague who works with me, Tiffany, who specializes in transfer admission as well as College Credit Plus transferability. And she's actually working on a document as we speak to help students understand, for example, the courses they took at MTC or at Columbus State or at Tri-C up in Cleveland, what they took there in CCP and how that counts at Ohio Wesleyan. But I'll be honest, I've seen students come into OWU as second semester sophomores credit-wise because they've taken so many college courses in high school. So it gives you some flexibility and freedom in what you do once you're in college. You can graduate early for example, and only be at Ohio Wesleyan for 2 or maybe 3 years, depending on how many credits you come in with. It allows you some flexibility in choosing multiple majors. Maybe it makes it easier to double major or double major and double minor. It gives you some flexibility in the number of courses you take per semester. So instead of taking 4 courses, you might take 3 so that you can have a full-time job or whatever the case may be. So for sure, College Credit Plus is a great program that many of our students participate in. Oh, great question about being undecided. I will say that many of our students come to Ohio Wesleyan undecided. It is true that on their application for admission, they may in fact indicate an academic interest area that they might plan to major in, but we're not admitting them to the university for that particular major. In fact, students have until the end of their sophomore year to officially declare what that major will be. They can certainly declare it before then, but they're not required to declare it until the end of the sophomore year. So the way our academic program is built sort of forces students to explore. Because we're a liberal arts university, students are required to take courses in different disciplines, so natural sciences, social sciences, humanities, the arts, foreign language, writing, all those kinds of areas are covered. And in particular, every first-year student, and actually every transfer student as well, takes a class, a seminar class during their first semester called UC 160. The short terminology, internal terminology for that class, but one of the things that class does throughout the course of the semester is to help students understand everything they need to know about Ohio Wesleyan academics and explore different options for majors. And they actually also go through an exercise of developing a 4-year plan. And it's not that they have to stick to that 4-year plan, but if they wanted to, let's say, be a double major in zoology and environmental studies, but they also wanted to travel through the OWU Connection and do an internship, how do they fit all of that into 4 years? So that tends to be very helpful for students as they're exploring. And then every student, of course, has an academic advisor, a faculty member who will help guide them in picking courses. And I think those faculty advisors can be especially helpful in suggesting courses to students based on what their interests are. If they're really truly exploring, like, what should I major in, a faculty member may say, oh, you should consider taking this course, or you might think about that course. So those folks are helpful as well. I think our folks in the Career Connection office do a great job of offering students some of those like survey kind of options to help you figure out like what you're good at and what you're not good at. What I tend to see happen, and I've been doing this for 24 years now, is I see students come to OWU and they take a class and the light bulb all of a sudden goes on for them, right? And they discover, oh my gosh, this is like a cool subject and I really feel drawn to it. And they end up choosing to major in that area because of some connection they have with the topic, with the professor, with the classwork they've taken. So it's rare that I see a student really struggling to figure it out by the end of the sophomore year. It sort of happens either naturally or through the course of this you know, the advice that they're getting from faculty, their advisors, through the UC 160 course, and also just by taking courses. So those are both great questions. We do have maybe just another minute before our time is up, if there are any other questions. If not, I will say it's been a pleasure spending time with you this evening. I thank you for your time and attention. I hope that you were able to learn something new about Ohio Wesleyan, and that if you haven't been to campus already, perhaps you'll make a trip here to see us in person at some point before the final decision making process is finished. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Have a wonderful evening and an even better weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of that information. I'm going to share our final slide. Those of you that attended, thank you so much for joining us. After you close this window, there will be a quick 4-question survey for you to respond to. You can sign up for more sessions at www.oacac.org. The recording of this session will be available in about a week and also available at www.oacac.org. And if you have additional questions, you can follow up with Ms. Patton at OWU. thank you again so much for this evening and for joining us, and have a great night. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.